When I was growing up, one of our most special Christmas traditions was when my mom would make chocolate walnut toffee. It's homemade candy, and it is just so delicious and melt in your mouth good. So when I got married and we had our kids, adopted our kids, I started making Christmas toffee also, and it is a family favorite. I can remember when I was a kid, and my mom would make this, and she would make pound after pound after pound of this candy, and she would wrap it up in aluminum foil, and she would give it to everybody who came to our house to visit for Christmas, give it to all of our friends. When my brothers got married and moved out, she'd give it to my brothers for Christmas. When I went to college, she'd send it home to college with me after Christmas. This was the stuff, and everybody always wanted to know where was Marion's homemade candy. So today, you're going to learn the secret of this fantastic chocolate walnut toffee. Right now we have a pound of butter, 2 cups of sugar, 2 tablespoons of white corn syrup, and 1/3 cup of water. And they are boiling on top of our induction cooktop. And we're going to take those up until they reach the soft crack stage, almost to the hard crack stage, which means we take them up to 290 degrees. When I used to make this back in our sticks and bricks house, one of the problems that I had was that the candy would always burn onto the bottom of the pot, because it's just basically sugar and butter. And we had a gas stove. Lots of great things I can say about gas stoves, but one problem is that it's very easy to burn. And that is one of the reasons I really love our new wave induction cooktop, because it gives much more even heat. And that means that when I make it on here, I rarely, well, I'll admit it happens sometimes, but I rarely have the candy burn on the bottom of the pot. And of course, the other essential tool is a candy thermometer. People who are really good might be able to look at this and tell just by the color whether or not the candy is done, but the best way to know when you've reached the perfect temperature for this candy is to have a candy thermometer. And I'll put a link to how you can find one of these down below. The next ingredient you're going to need for walnut toffee, of course, is walnuts. You're going to need 3 cups of them, and chop them up a little bit. They don't have to be chopped to dust, just about this much. We've put 2 cups here, and we're reserving 1 cup for later. This has been cooking for about 15 minutes now, and it's just starting to turn golden. You got to be very patient. Slow and steady wins the race. Not quite yet. 290 degrees. It's time. I'm going to dump in all 2 cups, just 2 cups of the walnuts. Turn the temperature down to low and stir. And stir. We have to stir now for 3 minutes. While we're stirring.
It smells so good.
Smell good?
Mm-hmm.
While we're stirring, all those walnuts are rendering out their walnut oil, and that's blending in with the sugar and the butter so that it'll make the perfect consistency for this candy. We're also whipping air into the toffee, and that's going to give it a nice crunch and make it a little easier to bite into when it's broken up into perfect pieces. All right, 3 minutes is up. Now we're just going to pour it into 2 pans and try to divide it sort of evenly between them. And now comes the hard part. Waiting until these completely cool and harden. You know, there's one problem with this. There's always some that ends up getting stuck on the spoon. No, I'm not going to lick that right now. It's almost 300 degrees. But give me a couple minutes, and it's pretty good. Of course, one of the things that makes this chocolate walnut toffee is chocolate. So we have taken 12 ounces of Nestle's semi-sweet chocolate and melted it very carefully, very slowly, at a very low heat. And now, the good stuff. 1/4 of the chocolate, more or less, and put it on each of the pans of toffee. Spread it around evenly. It doesn't need to go on very thick. In fact, if you put it on too thick, it'll crack and separate and fall off. You just want it just thick enough to cover the entire piece. So the question comes, how do we do the other side? And that's where the last cup of walnuts comes into play. Because the walnuts act like a baking rack and flip and flip, and on goes the rest of the chocolate. And now another long wait. We've got to wait for the chocolate to harden, and that usually takes a couple of hours. It's not just a matter of temperature. The chocolate just has to harden up to being like it came out of the chocolate bar, and then we get to break it up and eat it.
Put on the last layer of walnuts.
And the last layer of walnuts. Yeah. Press them in a little bit to make sure they stick in the chocolate. Oh no, I got chocolate on my hand. And finally, it's time. There you go. Oh yeah.
It's easier with a bigger knife.
All right, stop. Let's give it a taste. See if it's any good quality control here.
Yep.
How good is it, Kathy? How good is it?
It's good. Just like Campbell's soup.
Take a bite. Go ahead. Take a bite on camera.